Welcome to, what is the show? Show is Phil Margo, The Lion Roars, heard exclusively on malcolmpresents.com. Hey, Phil, good morning. How you doing?
Good morning. Come on. I thought of something and I wanted to talk about it. Good morning, everyone. I want to talk about the Civil War, the Civil War, the Lincoln Civil War,
Okay.
because the South never got over it. And what they never got over was that they thought they had the right to subjugate a whole race of people, human beings, because of their color. And slavery, there's no excuse for it. The South had no excuse for that. I don't care. And and then when you bring it up to today, the middle class are slaves. We really are. We're slaves. We're slaves to the corporate attitudes that they can't stop making money off of us like they were vultures. I wanted my cable company raised the price of cable, a couple of months, 3 months ago,
Yeah.
$20. And I have I've been with them since they were Z Channel, back in 1978. So I've been with them when they were Z Channel, and then they were Warner's, and then they were, and then they were Adelphia, and then then there's whatever they are, Spectrum now. And they show no appreciation for me as a customer. So they raise the price $20 with the excuse that they're paying more, like they're not making a profit, you know what I mean? Which is hard to believe. And they're part of Charter now, so they're so big that you can't do anything about them. And so I called up and said, look, I want to cancel my phone because it's costing me $20 and I don't really use the line. And the line kind of has all of these, solicitation calls,
Yeah, I use my landline to
no end. I mean, it's like you get these calls that they use another number, they use a local number,
right.
and they want to sell you car service is the big thing now. Your warranty is running out.
Car warranty is now the biggest complaint.
Right.
Consumer.
So I just assume get rid of this phone number, right? And I called them up and I talked to somebody and they said, yeah, you can get rid of it. It's $20 a month, whatever. So I finally the other day called them to ask them to cancel it. I wanted to cancel the phone. We talked about it.
Yeah.
And I get them on the phone and the guy who was very polite and he says, oh, I'm going to send you to the cancellation place. It's a different place. So I finally I hang on another 5 minutes and I get somebody, right? And I explain my situation, which I don't have to do again. And he says, if you cancel your phone, your price for your service will go up.
Yeah, I was going to tell you that. It's yeah. What I do in AT&T, it's a triple package.
Yeah. So I said, but the other people who I spoke to said you'll get the credit. They didn't say anything about it going up. I mean, how could you cancel? How could they make a system that's so confusing that if I cancel the phone, they raise my price?
Yeah, what happens is, at least in AT&T, I have the Uverse package.
You don't have to explain it.
But you have to have the three things. You have to have your phone. Well, with me, I have to have my the phone, the internet, and the cable.
Cable.
Yeah, and for three of them, I get a discount. So if I drop the phone, I don't get that triple discount.
Yeah, which is BS.
Right.
Shouldn't be that way. It's just It's just another slimy way to screw the people, which is what I'm talking about, this enslaving of the middle class, you know, and we have to put up with it, especially here in Beverly Hills, because there's no other choice.
Yeah.
I can't go anywhere else.
Well, I could get Spectrum if I want.
Right, okay. I mean, I have the right as an American. One of the things about capitalism that was spoken about and raved about was the fact that capitalism, you have choices. So if you don't get the best price, you could go somewhere else.
No, no,
right?
but no, this never was, because during the 1920s, before they had was not monopolies, and they were supposed to get rid of
Well, what do you think
monopolies.
we have now?
Yeah, but monopolies were exactly what you're talking about. There was only
Right.
one.
And
I think that they did that away with. I think it was.
they didn't do away with it.
No, supposedly with Rockefeller and the gas.
They're violating it minute to minute.
Yeah.
What they're doing is they're getting away with it because they have so much power in Congress and all over that they do what they want.
Right.
I mean, how do you let oil companies buy oil companies so that there's 3 oil companies in the world? You know, how do you allow that? How do you allow only three supermarket chains? 3. And there are 3 or 4 Home Depot type, Lowe's and not Osho, Osho's gone. Lowe's and Ace, there's only 3, and they're driving the local stores out of business.
But it's always been that way. And
no, it hasn't always been that way.
I remember growing. What you remember?
No, you keep saying that, and it's not. When I was growing up, there was the A&P, there was ShopRite, and there was also independent stores that stayed in business. Okay, there were hardware stores that helped you willingly. I remember I had a hardware store 2 blocks from my house. I would walk over there and get little things and stuff when I started fixing things in my house when I was a kid. And now all of those things are disappearing. Chains have taken over everything, and people have no choice. You have no choice.
Now, I remember when growing up in Brooklyn, and I remember they had the small grocery stores.
Right.
But that was in the 50s. But what happened is then I remember Key Food became the big market.
Well, Key and Walbaum's
and that took over. That killed the mom and pop stores.
Right, and then
but this is going since the 1950s.
Yeah, but then they bought each other, and now there's 3.
Well, you have Kroger, you have Vons, and who's the other ones? Well, Costco is a big one now.
What?
Costco.
Costco is a different thing. Costco is they give you a break. Costco treats you great. They give you food when you go in. They treat the customers terrifically.
But they don't give you food anymore. They used to. Well, I don't know because of the pandemic. I don't know whether they'll go back.
I've seen. I was there. They didn't. I don't know. Anyway, and they're a major chain too, and so therefore, you can't talk to them. I called them up and I said, "What do you mean my price goes up? That's the way it is." And the bottom line is that they're taking advantage of us daily. Look at the price of gasoline now. How do you explain that? There are thousands and thousands more of electric cars, okay? They're not buying it. People aren't buying as much gas as they used to. The COVID pandemic took away, the first 3 weeks, the price of oil went down to nothing. And now they're charging close to $5 a gallon here. Close to $5. Yeah. The cheapest gas is like $4.20 or $4.30, for the 87 octane. And they don't have to do that, and nobody stops them. It's slavery. It's like they're enslaving our income is what they're doing. And And it's horrible. It's horrendous. I don't know how to get around it anymore. You know, I mean, I used to go to Neiman Marcus, and I would buy a shirt, and I'd say, well, how about 2 shirts and give me this price? And they say, okay. And this is retail. This is not like,
You did that at Neiman Marcus?
yes, yes. As a matter of fact, I went to O'Reilly's auto store.
Yeah.
Right? I called up and got the price of a battery for my Mustang, right? And it was $189 for a battery for the Mustang. And I went in and I said, I spoke to you about it. He said, yeah, we got it. Okay. I said, how about giving me a little discount? I just asked. I didn't threaten. I didn't say I'm going to walk out. He said, yeah, we can do that. I'll knock off $20.
Yeah, that I haven't heard from chain stores unless they're individually owned
Yeah, but when it comes to like
or franchised, you know.
cable, they're so powerful. I mean, they're so powerful that they're the reason, they're the object reason why the monopoly rules were made. Because they're so powerful, and the oil companies are so powerful, they override everything. They override governments. I mean, look at Russia. Putin is all about oil. That's all. And the Russian people get screwed. And he has castles all over the world, and he doesn't care about his people. And that's what the Republicans are. That they don't care about the people. When they make the laws that they make and say you don't have to get vaccinated, and Tucker Carlson says it's a violation of your freedom, and he comes up with these reasons that make no sense at all to any reasonable human being. Don't get.
Now we're going off the topic a little.
No, it's not. It's all the same topic. It's the core. It's
what you're saying. You're saying the system doesn't work. Totally.
It doesn't.
Capitalism.
It doesn't. The corporations are fascists. They really are. They don't care about the people. They just don't care. They don't care.
Yeah,
when did you ever get, like the power companies? Every month with the bill comes a note that says we're going to the PUC to ask to raise
the rates.
Every month, the gas company, the electric company, every single month, there's a little tuck away that says they're asking for an increase.
No, you know what it is? My pet peeve is that in the modern society, the modern communications, especially, we're all dependent on, where I am with Zoom or with anything in communications with the internet. You can't reach people.
No, you're right.
I mean, I'm a talker like you. I'm a talker. I like talking to someone on the phone.
You're right.
You can't speak to anybody on the phone.
It's chat.
And generally,
yes, you're right. And that's not an accident. They don't want to. And they also keep you on the phone when you call somebody and you want to talk to them. First of all, you have to listen to a barrage of nonsense.
Yeah.
Oh, get this, get that, come here, come there. And then they connect you, and then they give you the thing, dial 1 for this, press 2 for that, press 4. And then half the time it goes back to go dialing 1 again, because it says, if you want to talk to somebody, and who has the extension of the corporate people in the oil companies? How can you talk to the vice president in charge of public relations? You can't.
You can't.
You can't get to those people. So, and America is busy now fighting each other about whether to get vaccines or whether to get the booster. They think more. Corporate America thrives on that because it keeps our attention away from the BS that they're doing. It's pathetic. I'm so disgusted. And the government, I mean, Mitch McConnell doesn't want to raise the debt limit. Of course, why? Because I don't want to raise the debt limit. I want to cause them grief. And then he turns around yesterday and says, it's a Democrat's fault. It's a Democrat's fault? Trump passes a law for trillions of dollars, giving money to the corporations and the 1% of the people, and it's the Democrats' fault? And he stands there and says that?
That was the funny thing when Trump was in office and the debt limit, our debt went up by trillions of dollars or billions of
Yes.
dollars,
And they don't want to pay that debt that they helped run up.
right.
So they're sitting there with the smoking gun saying, I didn't do anything. It's your fault. And the Democrats are lying dead because they can't get anything because these idiots still are holding on to the filibuster.
Well, part of it is that the big corporations and big dollars can support these candidates. They're dependent upon that for their job.
Yes,
and
that happened because of what they did in passing a law that's what was it? What was it called?
I forget. The corporations can give unlimited funding.
Right.
And
they said it's perfectly legal for the corporation to take money and not report it and not say who gave it to them.
Right. And what happens, especially
when elections should have nothing to do with anybody but the person who's running, standing up and saying, here's why you should vote for me.
Right.
You should vote for me for my ideas.
And everybody should have equal opportunity to get on to network television.
Now they don't even want people to have equal opportunity to vote. How do
that's another issue. But the thing is,
they want to take our vote away so that we can't make them tell the corporations to stop doing what they're doing.
Yeah. Well,
so in the meantime, gas is rising for no reason. They can't go explain it. Oh, it's the seasonal change in formula. Yeah. Come on, $5 a gallon in LA for gas.
Well, what do you think about Ford going electric with their trucks?
I think it's wonderful. I think it's terrific. It's the best-selling vehicle. That the 150 is the best-selling vehicle that there is of all the vehicles.
And they're investing so many billions of dollars in building plants in the United States.
Yes, but the problem is that there's not an infrastructure yet. See, 10 years ago, 12 years ago, when I had this deal to start, I was in a deal to make solar more available to people easier, okay? To make solar units that you can put up yourself. That you didn't need to hire anybody. That you could just, put it up. And part of what I said is this company I was dealing with is that they should make deals with McDonald's and all of the places on the highways all over the country to place charging stations for electric vehicles and start now. And I have paperwork to show it. To start, this was in 2008, to start now, and by the time we get to the 20s, the 2020s, we will have infrastructure, and you also use solar to help supply the electricity for the infrastructure, and so that would be your profit. If you put solar up, the difference between what you know what I mean, and there's a profit motive for somebody to set this up, but nobody paid attention because the power companies want to make sure to hold on to the things that power us. So what they do is they make, why can't I buy a solar complex from Home Depot? Why? You can't.
I haven't been that much into solar. I don't know.
I went there in 2008 and I said, I want to buy solar. They said, you can't. We don't sell that. I said, the biggest do-it-yourself company in the world doesn't sell solar, something that all you have to do is hang out and then get an electrician to come in and do all the electric work. You could buy the solar panels. They're not that expensive. And so what I did is I did it. I have solar on my roof that I got put in privately. I have no company involved.
All right, I thought you had to get the one of the major utilities involved when you do solar.
No. They came to my house one day. I remember SoCal Ed came to my house. What's the matter? Well, we want to look at your meter. So we saw something funny. What? Well, we saw current going in onto, not going into your house, going in onto our system, right? In other words, my meter was running backwards because the solar was providing electricity, and the electricity that I don't use goes back into the system.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes. So they came to my house and they wanted to know why. They thought they thought I turned the meter around. You know, there was this trick years back. You can turn the meter around
Oh,
and it runs backwards.
good back.
But so they came out and they looked at it and they said, "Oh, you have solar. Okay, fine." And he signed it off and he left. And that
And
was
you,
the end of it.
and you don't have to pay any bills each month?
No, I have to pay. No, I don't have solar to cover my whole bill. I didn't have an, I put it up as an experiment and I never really got it finished. But I have about 9 panels that provide about a quarter of the electricity. So my electric bills generally are below $120 a month, sometimes even 100 or under $100 a month. And that's how much you would pay if you'd pay that much if you had someone bring in solar.
Yeah.
How much do you think you pay for that? You know?
Well, again, I got rid of, I sold my house about 12 years ago. So right now I live in an apartment.
Right. I mean, so
So,
what I'm
so
saying
you know,
is, yeah, but what I'm saying is solar should be available for people to put up themselves. It's not a big deal. You know, it really isn't. It's
well,
not that
I know I forget what it's called, solar farms or solar plants, like big
they have,
areas.
where they generate electricity.
Yeah, where you can
Power
plug into
Yeah,
that where you.
power companies pay for it because they want to maintain control
Yeah.
of what. But you see, the problem is the sun is what gives you solar power. So they can't charge you for the sun.
Yeah,
They
well,
can't.
I still don't see
Your sun.
why they can't store all this energy. That seems to be the problem of
No,
storing the sun power. So
you can store it. The solar, I don't have a system where I need to store it because I don't generate an over an overabundance of electricity where I would need to store it with batteries. I have no solar at night. You know, you usually, if you have a full solar unit, a full solar system, like I need like about twice what I have now, maybe a little more.
because aren't there certain areas of the world or in this country that the sun is not always shining in the
Yes,
wintertime. It's not shining as much or in certain,
yes, yes.
and you have to store the energy.
No, not. I mean, yes, you can store it, but I mean, you need. I mean, people who have solar that supply solar to their whole house all the time have storage batteries that the overage gets stored and used at night.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it is. It's just not. That's not the problem. Is not. Look, we had an electric car in 1990. I drove it. It was fine, and then it was put away and buried and killed. They destroyed them. They were the GM E1, EV1, the Impact. They destroyed them like they didn't want anybody to have them. And then electric cars didn't really start coming out until the middle. Let's see. I've had 3 volts. One I still have. I've had 3 volts, so that's 9 years. So it really started coming when Tesla started making solar. So it was this century.
Yeah.
They wasted 10 or 15 years of not developing electric cars because the oil companies wanted it. There's no doubt in my mind that the electric car was killed by the oil companies.
Well, now it's coming back. Yeah, now it's coming back again.
But I knew it. Well, now it's coming back because people said, "Hey, this is a better deal," and because the planet is dying.
Right.
So that would give you a reason. But that's what you need. People are so blind that they don't see the future.
But going back, what we need is, which I think is a new way of financing elections.
No, the old way is the new way. They don't finance them. They get you get X amount of money from the government to run your campaign, and then you you get votes by telling the people what you're going to do
Right.
instead of telling them the lies that the other people are doing that's not true.
What we, you don't
All
get
of
it by,
those ads are lies. I mean, the Republican ads are lies. They're all lies. Every single one of them.
you don't get it by news bites.
What?
You don't get it by just, 3-minute news bites or
Why?
commercials.
Yeah, it's the way it used to be before they did Citizens United. The way it used to be was the person running they had debates. They talked to each other. They got on television. They took ads. There was money to take ads. Here's why we did a thing for Hubert Humphrey in 1968. You know, when I remember, because my kids were born a week later, at Alexander's in New York in New York
I
City.
remember that now.
And not Alex, is Alexander's right?
Alexander's was in New York.
Right. And so we don't have to do a new one. We have to go back to the old way. The new way is lying and taking ads out that are lies, 100% lies, and listening to Fox News, which is 100% lies, and Tucker Carlson, who's a liar. He makes up stuff that are absurd. I mean, and people are unfortunately is gullible, and they listen to that crap.
Well, 2/3 of the Republican Party still feel that the election was a fraud.
I know. They bought that. I know.
But
I know.
but
But
number one,
two-thirds of the Republican Party won't get anybody elected, and they know it. That's why they have to take away the votes.
that's something you'd be interested with, which I heard, I saw, I think it was on Rachel the other night, about the people who get the vaccines. Originally, it was the Latinos or Latinx, and the blacks were behind the white people getting vaccines. Now it's all even.
Right.
Now it's about 70%.
Why?
But the big difference is between Democrats and Republicans.
Yes.
And it was like the Democrats would be
under 50% of Republicans.
Yeah, well, like 70, high 70% got the vaccinations, and the Republicans, I think, were like 30-something%.
Right.
Which might be good
And
because
they're dying.
Yeah, but then they'll die.
Well, I don't want people to die.
No.
I don't want to win elections because people die.
Right.
I want to win elections because they were fair, like this last one was, and that everybody had a chance to vote, which they did. Now, the only way the Republicans can win elections is by cheating, by stopping votes, by stopping especially now black votes in cities like Philadelphia and Atlanta. Okay. And you saw what happened with this fraud that they did in Arizona. It found that Biden got 360 more votes than he had credit for.
But they're still using that same lines about about it's been a fraud because they're saying all these bogus votes that came in and machines were
and they're being sued for $1.5 billion. And they're going to lose. They're all going to lose because they're lying. There's nothing wrong with the machines. There was nothing wrong with this election. This election was the fairest and the most people ever voted. And we should celebrate that.
Right.
The amazingness of getting the people out to vote and take part in but the Republicans don't want people to take part.
Speaking about politics, this should be a big week or the next few weeks of what happens in the Congress. Whether we get the infrastructure passed, whether we get the social infrastructure passed, the $3.5 billion,
$3.5 trillion, and the bipartisan one.
Yeah.
And I think that if it doesn't get done, and we don't fix the voting, that the Republicans will win the House and the Senate, and they will try to impeach Biden for coughing while he was making a speech, or whatever happened in Afghanistan, or something. And if they have the votes, they will do it.
Well, what they want to do is,
and they will throw him out of office.
What they're doing is they're taking, the elections where the the state does not have to recognize the result of the election.
Right, yes.
Even if a
The
Democratic
legislature
win,
could change the votes.
they could change the votes.
You don't think that's gonna start a civil war?
Could
And it's
be.
all because of abortion. Really is the abortion laws and the voting laws. We're sitting right now in a worse position than we were in the Civil War. And because in the Civil War, even when it was fought in fields away from everybody. You know what I mean? Battle of Gettysburg was fought in the open. Most of these battles, it wasn't until the end when the North went into Savannah, you know, which I thought was kind of awful. But
Well, I don't know that much about the history of the Civil War, but I could tell you our history, our show, our time has run out.
oh well, good. Well, I hope somebody was interested in some of the stuff we said.
They should be, but
Bothering me to no end.
just
really
tell your
is.
friends, it's all on malcolmpresents.com, and we could go back with our shows. I think like 2 years that we've been going.
Yeah, how do you like that?
It's when you're having fun, time goes fast.
Should be Wednesdays with Malcolm.
Well, actually, not now. I have Wednesdays with the Margos because I have a show after you, the Tush Twins. Remember the Tush Twins?
Oh no,
The Tush,
what twins?
the Tush Twins. The Tush Twins are your sister Maxine
Oh,
and
my
Paula.
sister and Paula. Yeah. Well, you said Margot's. They're not Margot.
No, but it's a Margos because I have you and Maxine
Oh,
Margot,
oh,
Maxine
oh,
Margot Rubin. So
okay.
it's
Tell the
my
Tush
Wednesday
twins hello.
Margot day.
Tell them hello.
Now, if I could get your sons on some shows.
Believe me, he has enough. On Tuesday night, he has his board meetings. You know.
No, actually, I want to get Solomon
Well,
on
Solomon is in
from New York. I want to get a student. I want to get a younger person. I have too many people in their 70s.
I don't know. I don't know.
And the
He's
new
busy.
anyway,
Yes, school.
take notes, and I'll see you next week.
Later.
Ciao, Bambino.